welcome to Dawn Mountain this Sunday. This very warm and humid Sunday. Well, for anybody that's come returning student or practitioner, welcome. And for the new of you, welcome. I hope you enjoy today and you keep coming back. This morning we'll be doing it's traditionally called shamatha, or which translates similar to calm abiding, which is a practice of meditation where we focus on a particular object for a prolonged period of time. And we use that object to start to train our minds to be able to come back to a particular object over and over again. In our daily lives, we have a plethora of distractions, whether it is social media, text from a friend, computer, cell phones, advertisements, cars around us, people. And these things can steal away our attention at any given point in time, without it necessarily being our choice for our attention to move away from something else. This could be simply just being able to rest in peace at this present moment with yourself, or it could be something more practical, like I need to finish that thing for work, and my mind keeps slipping up and going somewhere else instead of being able to focus on that. So as we practice shamatha, we start to train our minds and to be able to pay attention enough to notice when our attention has gone away from that particular object of attention that we've chosen. As we realize that, or we bring our minds back to our object of attention, well, we start to train ourselves. Now, the more we do it and the more we become accustomed to that, we are able to do that more in our day-to-day life. So if you needed to focus on just breathing because you were stressed out or pissed off, well, you can do that. If you needed to focus on that task at work or on that conversation with that loved one, well, now you can really pay attention, and you're going to notice when your mind is going somewhere else. And you're going to gently be able to not judge or beat up yourself, but come back to that. So that's really what we're doing here. We're in a controlled and supportive environment to start to get used to being able to notice the movements of our mind and choose what direction our attention is directed into. This is, it sounds very simple and straightforward, but it's a precious thing to be able to choose what we do with our attention. I always think about how precious it is when you're able to give somebody else your attention fully. I think it's one of the most beautiful expressions of love you can give to somebody else. I'm always reminded that when I'm talking to Ann and Harvey, our teachers here, and you can really tell that they're giving you their full 100% attention at that point in time, and it's just a role model to me to just really want to be there one day where I can truly be with my loved ones or with anybody that I'm interacting with and choose to give them my full attention. I think that's a gift. It's a gift for them and a gift to yourself. On a more technical note, that we will be doing two particular styles of meditation today. The first one will be attention on the breath, and that will be the bulk of the time we will spend just breathing together. I will give you some cues as to your pose and where you might be able to find your breath. And then the other main practice that we'll be doing today is focusing on sound. So about 2 or 3 times during our breathing practice, I will start chanting the syllable hung. If you're curious about what it looks like that. It doesn't really matter at all. It's just we will chant the syllable hung for about 1 or 2 minutes intermittently throughout the practice. And the idea of using a sound as meditation is, the breath, even though it's moving, it's a little bit more static in your bodies. When we start really making a sound, there's a little bit more dynamism to it, and this starts to open up the door to integrating our meditation practice into our day-to-day life. I will mention a couple of things and point out a couple of things along the way, but that's basically the general framework. and at least a little bit of the motivation that I wanted to share with you this morning. So start to find a comfortable seated position. Yeah, I like to move back and forth and side to side at the beginning and find a place where you can really feel both sit bones connecting with either the chair or the cushion. And then from that place of your sit bones connecting with the ground, you start to stack your spine in such a way that they're falling like coins. Your vertebrae are falling like coins upon each other until you find a place where basically you've stacked them together and you're letting your body really rest and be supported by the earth. There's a little bit of effort just to stay straight, but it's very minimal effort. You should not be straining. You should not feel an excess of tension in your body. Really connecting with how the earth is supporting you here. And then your skeleton is also supporting you here. At the top of your spine, you're going to bring your neck a little bit in, or imagine that there's a little string pulling from the top of your head so that your cervical spine is in line with the rest of your spine. This allows for more energy to flow through your spine, through your nervous system, up and down, and it also is just nice on your cervical spine not to be jammed upwards. And start to notice if there's any areas of excess tension, maybe around your shoulders and neck, maybe around your jawline or your hips. And invite a couple of in-breaths into that space of tension. Invite some space as you inhale. And as you exhale, try to let something go. See if just the suggestion of your mind inviting that to let go, maybe it releases a little bit. Maybe not 100%, but just, a small release of tension is always welcome. And when you found that comfortable, supported position of seating and let go of some of your excess tension, just bring your attention to the breath. There's a number of places where one might find the breath. The most obvious one probably being the nose. You can just focus on the feeling of the air coming in and out of your nostrils. Or maybe you focus on the expansion of your lungs and your chest. Or if you're a more advanced practitioner, maybe you found the dough, which is a place 3 finger widths underneath your navel and 3 finger widths in, as a focal point of your inhale and outhale. Once you've found the right place for yourself, just stay there. Just pick one of those and stick with it throughout the morning. And if you have a mind, which I assume we all do, your attention has probably gone somewhere else at this point, probably more than once. That's okay. Just notice it. Don't judge it. Don't fight it. The more you fight it, the more you get distracted anyway. So just gently nudge your attention back to your breath. This is the practice, coming back over and over to that object of meditation. You're relatively new to meditation. It might seem to you that as you sit here, your mind's actually getting busier than ever before. This is a very common thing for people to report when they're starting meditation. Do not be overwhelmed or alarmed. It's totally okay. It is not so much that your mind has become wilder as much as you're just noticing really how active our minds are on a regular basis. There's nothing wrong with having thoughts. There's nothing wrong with having an active mind. As a matter of fact, it's simply the nature of mind. It's effervescent. But we get to choose what we pay attention to. So every time you notice it, just come back to the breath. Let those thoughts just run through the background. Do not fight them. Do not indulge in them. Just focus on your breath. Just allow yourself to notice what effect that had on your body and your mind. No judgment, simply noticing. And as that experience subsides, gently bring attention back to your breath. And notice if there's any excess tension that's crept up in your body in the past few minutes. Yeah. The tendency is that our shoulders will start to cram up. Your jaw might tighten up. Bring some space between the back of your teeth. Allow your shoulders to melt away from your ears as you exhale. And refine a position where you can be comfortably paying attention. If you've mostly been paying attention to the inhalation in your breath, I invite you to start paying attention maybe a little bit more to your lungs and your chest, how the rib cage expands as you inhale, and how it goes down as you exhale. The tendency in our day and age is for most of our attention to be up in our heads and very disconnected from the rest of our bodies. So just having the opportunity to sort of embody it ourselves and feel the movement of breath, the movement of life inside of us. It's a nice treat that you can give to yourself. And again, just laying our attention to rest in the sensation that comes after that. And when you're ready, coming back to your breath. I invite you to take a couple, maybe a minute or two, to consider your motivation for coming out today. Our motivation is what drives us on a day-to-day basis, is what gets us to do X, Y, or Z. And I think it's important for us to be aware of what it is that we're motivating ourselves with, and then sometimes even check in if our actions are in line with that motivation. Just to keep it a little simpler, I'm asking you to consider what motivated you to come out to meditate today. There are no right answers. Maybe somebody dragged you here. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just acknowledging what's driving us. In our tradition, we typically keep our eyes open while we meditate. The reasoning being that we're not meditating to try to escape the world or block things away from our experience. Quite the opposite. We're meditating to try to be more present on our day-to-day lives and be able to engage life more fully. So if you haven't been doing it so far, I invite you to try to meditate with your eyes open this last few minutes that we'll sit here together. Couple of tips about meditating with your eyes open. If your mind seems overly active, casting your gaze down a little under 45 degrees will actually soothe the mind and allow it to slow it down a little bit. On the other hand, if you're feeling dull and sleepy, taking a big exhalation, getting all the stale air out of you, and then pointing your gaze upwards towards the ceiling will vitalize your body and your mind a little bit to stay awake during meditation. And if you're feeling pretty even, you can cast your gaze either just quite right in front of you or slightly down. Try to see if you can not really focus on anything in particular, but just keep an open gaze here. And breathe. we'll take a little bit of a break, maybe 10 minutes, grab a snack out there in the hallway, and there's some drinks, meet somebody new, and we'll come back in about 10 minutes. I'll ring the bell, and we'll close for practice. There's a book going around with names in it. It's just dedication or merit, and to somebody in particular that might need an extra home from their life. It could be somebody who just passed away. It could be somebody looking for a job. It could just be yourself because you're feeling a little bit under the weather. Yeah, we'll come back in 10 minutes and sort of dedicate that merit. Thank you.
I ask precious 3 gems from deep in my pained heart. See me with compassion. I have no other hope. This dear human body, impermanence besets. Do you not fear your death, good and faithful student? The 5 skandhas gather and disperse who knows when. Heartily think on death, good and faithful student. Karma never deceives, so give up wrongful thoughts. Engage Dharma wholly. I ask precious 3 gems from deep in my pained heart. See me with compassion. I have no other hope. This dear human body, impermanence besets. Do you not fear your death, good and faithful student? The 5 skandhas gather and disperse who knows when. Heartily think on death, good and faithful student. Karma never deceives, so give up wrongful thoughts. Engage Dharma wholly. I ask precious three gems from deep in my pained heart. See me with compassion. I have no other hope. This dear human body impermanence besets. Do you not fear your death, good and faithful student? The five skandhas gather and disperse who knows when. Heartily think on death, good and faithful student. Karma never deceives, so give up wrongful thoughts. Engage Dharma wholly. I ask precious three gems from deep in my pained heart. See me with compassion. I have no other hope. This dear human body impermanence besets. Do you not fear your death, good and faithful student? The five skandhas gather and disperse who knows when. Heartily think on death, good and faithful student. Karma never deceives, so give up wrongful thoughts. Engage Dharma wholly. I ask precious three gems from deep in my pained heart. See me with compassion. I have no other hope. This dear human body impermanence besets. Do you not fear your death, good and faithful student? The five skandhas gather and disperse who knows when. Heartily think on death, good and faithful student. Karma never deceives, so give up wrongful thoughts. Engage Dharma wholly.
Zero re sa yena me do thaga me yele te mi ta to bole te ki zhe den ye ye de de kar zo.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. So, to dedicate the merit of our practice, you have this yellow sheet. We will do the dedication, the last two paragraphs, the dedication and the blessing. By this good may I swiftly once become a great guru, lead all beings, everyone, to reach to that very ground. Is there a candle? So, would you light the candle, please? With all of you in mind, we light this lamp of clarity. May the love of love, wisdom shine within us, everyone, till we all rise forth born in one enlightened mandala. This morning we dedicate our merit to all sentient beings, but in particular for somebody's family and friends. My mother, Julie, Meg to the hospital. My daughter Ashley and Brittany, for me to find inner peace. My friends, Katie, in the new path and peace. Her newborn girl Aurora, great strength and peace. Daniel Nagels, Amelia Forrest, love and peace. Brothers, Jared Sanford, his brother Jeremy, who was killed 2 years ago, peace and understanding. Maruska, Marge Korkandran, Chris Kornkarnan and family, Emma, Rolf, Mary, Sarah, safe travels. Miro, Chris, Mary, Craig, Conver, and Craig Corncarvan, Lynn, Dolly, the Brown family, Dwayne, Juanita Bardo, Ann and Harvey, Chip, animals, victims of violence and oppressions. And we'll close our practice with 3 chants of the syllable ah. On the first one, we imagine that there's rays of light coming from our heart to ourselves, and just give ourselves some love. The second time, we'll expand that light to the entire room, but as we expand that light to the entire room, we are receiving light from everybody else in the room too. And then finally, in the last one, we'll expand the light to Houston, the United States, the world, the galaxy, the universe, really as far as our imagination can stretch. So please join me. Thank you for coming out this morning, and thank you for sharing your breath and your time with all of us. I think I forgot to tell you, my name is Paulo. Now you know. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, please direct them towards me or anybody else who wants to raise their hand. Senior student, but yeah, I'm here if you need anything. Have a good rest of your Sunday.